Hi, it's Joseph, and welcome back to the channel on San Miguel de Allende's secrets. And today we're going into part 2 on the secrets behind San Miguel de Allende's street names. As always, in the descriptive box below, there are links if you need more information, including one to Amazon if you're interested in purchasing any of the 10 books in the best-selling series, San Miguel de Allende's Secrets. San Miguel's neighborhoods and streets were first organized by the Spanish. Centro was for the Spanish, with the 4 oldest areas set aside for the indigenous in La Palmita, Ojo de Agua, Valle de Maíz, and Guadiana. Colonias are the areas a bit farther afield from the Jardín, such as San Antonio, the largest neighborhood. The word fraccionamiento is used for planned development, while enfant implies an area of similar-looking houses built at the same time and assigned to owners as part of the Mexican mortgage system. Assuming you've steady work and are under a certain age, you qualify to buy one of these low-cost houses over a 20 or 30-year loan. Why I mention all this is because neighborhood names and street names repeat themselves. If you want a taxi to take you to Enfidant La Luz, it's a different place than Fraccionamiento La Luz, and so on. If you blithely say to the driver, La Luz, it's anyone's guess where you'll end up. Recent subdivisions tend to focus on themes. For example, Azteca prefers to name streets for ancient Aztec rulers, while Las Fuentes names streets for famous fountains. Often, streets change name every block or so to simply keep you on your toes. Best of luck street walking on Churro/Blanco/Murillo/Nunes/Calzada de la Presa, as they are all the same street. Calle means street, and a callejón is an alley. A cuestra is a hill or slope. A calzada implies a paved highway, though I'd question the logic, given our use of cobblestones. Libramiento is a freeway, while roundabouts are glorietas. Now, on to some of the secrets behind street names. Roque Carbaro. He was a composer who wrote the bolero Dry Leaf, interpreted by singers since 1946. In the 70s, Roque owned a restaurant called Dry Leaf, serving Arab cuisine by his wife, who was from that region. While eating, Roque entertained patrons on the piano, often drinking and playing. Sometimes Roque failed to notice when his toupee turned sideways or eventually slid down his back like a runaway mammal. The most influential tale surrounding Roque is that one day he told his wife he was going out for cigarettes, only to return 32 years later. That event entered popular phrases in both English and Spanish, insisting if your man tells you he is, quote, going out for cigarettes, it's code for he isn't coming back. The street Pedro Páramo is named for a novel written by Juan Ruffalo about a man who travels to his recently deceased mother's hometown to find his father. Instead, he comes across a literal ghost town, a town inhabited only by ghosts, a possible allusion to his own schizophrenia. The film version starred Mexican-American psycho star John Gavin, who later became a controversial U.S. ambassador to Mexico under Ronald Reagan. No Me Olvides, a street meaning Don't You Forget Me, is home to a large cemetery. St. Cecilia Street, she was the patroness of musicians, and her November feast day is widely celebrated around town with concerts. Ask any Cecilia you meet why she was named that, and you'll learn one or both of her parents were musicians. The street name Angela Peralta is for an operatic soprano of international fame in the 19th century. Called the Mexican Nightingale, she was the first to perform at the theater named for her in Centro. She died at 38 from a plague. To the right there is the chapel of St. Dominic. Dominic started the Dominican Order of Clergy. His namesake street features a chapel and school in his honor, plus a convent for the Dominican nuns that teach at the school. Back in the 1920s, the government went to war against the church, and it wasn't a good time to be clergy. The Dominican nuns fled, except for the Mother Superior, that spent the war years cleaning the home that had once been her convent, and now was a house for prostitution. Following the war, when the church lost much of its land, there is still emphasis placed on who lives there over whose name is on the deed. This was the opportunity for the Mother Superior to come forward and say, I'm a nun, I've always lived here, so it's always been a convent. She won, and the home still is for the nuns that teach at the school while the prostitutes have moved out to the road leading to Dolores. To the lower left and center, there's St. Martin. an image that can be seen throughout town of a gladiator on a horse, cutting his cape in half to give to a nude old man. He dreamt that night the old man was Jesus, changing his life and becoming a priest. When he died, he still had his half of the cape, which he needed to return to the military unit, and showed how God doesn't ask for more than we can do. A small church was built in Rome to house St. Martin's half of the cape, and cape in Latin became the word chapel. Martin is the patron saint of cowboys and those that rely on the kindness of strangers. His image is in stores, Spanish language schools, and the like that rely on strangers coming in to buy goods and services. Cowboys and cowgirls plow through town each November to gallop to the town of St. Martin and have their horses blessed on his feast day. Virgins, saints, and sinners make up most of the town's street names, each offering an interesting glance to our diverse history and culture if you dare take your eyes off the road. As always, feel free to hit like and subscribe, and you'll get notifications of new videos that come out every week on San Miguel de Allende Secrets.